Hey everybody, Eric Switzer here for The Gamer, back with another episode of Your Favorite Game with my two award-worthy co-hosts, George Foster.
Hello, hello.
And The Gamer's Editor-in-Chief Stacey Henley.
Hello, hello.
So we're here today to talk about the Game Awards, but not this year's Game Awards, because for us, they have not happened yet. We're recording on Thursday. We are watching the show this evening. Very excited about it. The hype is real. I hope it pays off. Because why do I keep hearing this is the biggest Game Awards in years?
We hear that every year, in fairness.
I actually don't think we
I
do.
believe it.
The last few years, Jeff has gone like, there won't be as many reveals. Like, it's games that are already revealed. It's going to be more trailers for games we already know about.
It's going to suck.
It's been a while since there's been one where the buzz has been, there's some big reveals coming and no one knows what they are.
Yeah.
Obviously, that hasn't lived up to expectations. But I think the awards are more interesting this year. I don't know who's going to win pretty much any category. I think Bellator will take Best Indie. Other than that, I probably couldn't really call any of them.
Yes.
Which is cool.
The awards are interesting this year. I hope that we have time for them. It's going to be like every year. It's going to be the same show. We're going to complain about it the same way. Yes. We have a bit of a love-hate relationship with the Game Awards because, like, we love trailers. We love awards. Unfortunately, when you smash those two things together, one gets pretty shortchanged and the other one goes on too long somehow.
And it's the one with the Muppets. Please.
Okay, well, the world knows before us since this will go out after the Game Awards, but what's your wildest prediction for this evening?
Oh,
I don't.
In terms of a win or a reveal of something?
Both.
My wildest prediction then, what I think is the most blockbustery thing they could do and would be the most surprising is if it opened with a Switch 2 reveal. That would be the best way to kick off the show. Nothing else would be good as an opener. Like, they had GTA, they have Bloodborne or Silksong, which I think they probably don't. They have Half-Life 3, which they might. I don't think any of those have the opener vibe of, he has 5 minutes of the Switch. I don't think it'll happen, but that's
super fun. Yeah, that's a great idea, though. Yeah.
I mean, we all know what I want to see. I truly, in my heart, believe.
Well, you and I do.
4.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it'll be there. I really do think it'll be there. That's my hope.
You do? You actually think it will be?
Yeah, I've got tingles. I've got like excited tingles. Yeah,
Mickey
my Sora sense.
My wildest prediction is that Multiverses wins Best Fighting Game for the second time.
Praying for you, buddy. Let's hope.
Just kidding. But that does bring me to today's subject, which is the Game Awards. Of course, not this Game Awards, but the past Game Awards. Here we will be discussing our favorite Game Awards winners from the entire history of the show, which is now in its 11th year, right?
Yep.
It's changed in some ways. In a lot of ways I forgot that I sort of discovered as I was doing some research for this, but I thought that this would be a good opportunity to talk about some of our favorite games, maybe some things we don't talk about on the show enough or very often. So I think I just want to get right into it, but before you just blurt it out, I think it's George's turn to go first. Yeah. George, what year will we be discussing?
I'm going to be taking you guys far, far back to 2015.
2015?
Ooh, that's the second ceremony, right?
Yeah, so 2014 started.
Yeah, what's the category?
You can try, but I was stunned by this. This is Best Shooter 2015.
Oh, no. So this is a year before Overwatch.
Mm-hmm.
PUBG was up for the Game Award one year. I forgot he did that win Best Shooter. Why would you pick that? It's not going to be that. I'm just trying to think. Game of the year that year. What was game? 2015. First one was Dragon Age. 2016 was Overwatch. What was in between?
Is this Titanfall?
Nope. You will never guess it, and it is so deserving of it. And it didn't just win shooter; it also won multiplayer. That's your little hint.
Oh,
didn't just win.
Neither of you will get it, and I love it.
Did Fortnite?
No. Nah. Okay. I'll say
it. Stumped me.
the winner of not only Best Multiplayer in 2015, but it was Best Shooter is Splatoon. Like, what?
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And like,
that's a really interesting win. I still want to know what was Game of the Year that year.
I love Splatoon. I've said it before. Splatoon is one of my favorite Nintendo series. And
it was The Witcher, by the way. Sorry, but
The Witcher was 2015, wasn't it?
Go on.
Yeah, so like in a year with that, and what surprised me more, not just that Splatoon won, because I think it's deserving as much as you can quibble about its status as a shooter. I think it totally deserves it, and it was up against a Call of Duty, it was up against Halo, I think 5 Guardians, and it was also up against, Eric, you'll love this, Destiny: The Taken King. And it won.
Wow.
Right?
Destiny never gets its due.
No. Well,
but yeah.
Yeah, as a non-fan, Splatoon is great. It's such a wild and creative thing from Nintendo. One of my favorite series from them. And I did so much research. I've got like a whole massive list that I can't wait to talk about. But from there, I just couldn't stop looking at Splatoon and going like, yeah, that's such a good pick. Like, that's a surprise, but a very worthy win.
I love Splatoon. My big criticism of Splatoon, it sort of represents Nintendo's like failure to keep up with the times, I think, because there's no reason there should have been 3 Splatoon games in 6 years.
Was Splatoon a Wii U exclusive?
It was. Yeah, because Splatoon 2 launched.
Is it the only Wii U exclusive to ever win a Game Award then?
Yeah, well, it must be.
Because like Breath of the Wild wasn't exclusive. Like any games that were just
Smash.
Oh, Smash won Best Fighting Game.
Smash 4. Yeah.
Smash 4.
Yeah.
I think, if I recall.
It did.
Also, fun fact, this surprised me as well, a bit of history on the Game Awards. Do you remember they did Developer of the Year at one time?
Yeah.
Yep.
I've completely forgot.
Nintendo
like I saw
won.
Yeah, Nintendo won that same year.
I've got a list of some defunct awards we'll go through later. Yeah.
Some funky ones in there. Spunky defunct ones. Splatoon's a great pick. I think a great pick for what we're kind of doing here, looking at some of the stranger wins. Really takes you back because it's a really vintage one.
My God,
I do... On reflection, is it Stranger Now or Stranger Then? I feel like it's earned its place a little bit. I know it's got a second and a third, and Eric's right, it didn't need them, but like... I don't know, I feel like Splatoon did more interesting things than Halo 5.
Oh, absolutely. Well, yeah, the competition isn't great. I can't remember which Call of Duty it was that year, but clearly not a big one.
Taking King was an all-timer.
But it wasn't Splatoon, apparently.
That's like a top 3 moment in Destiny history, but yeah, you're totally right.
Taken King is similar to Shadow of the Erdtree being up for it now, though, isn't it? Like,
yes.
How much does that count against it that it's an expansion to a game?
But Destiny didn't launch great, right?
No,
Destiny didn't
2014
start out
was its launch. This would have been its first like big recovery?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It makes a bit more sense.
Yeah. And also best multiplayer for sure, but also great single player experience too.
Yes.
Like I love the story mode.
Full
Super
package.
Fun.
Yeah. I hope we do get Splatoon 4. I know it'd be easier to just carry on Splatoon 3, but if Nintendo's doing this thing where they keep doing new ones, and just do 4 for the Switch 2 and leave it.
Switch 2, exactly. That's the big thing.
Yeah. Give me on the Switch 2, give me just like Splatoon Infinite and just make it the live service game it should be, right?
Yep. But with a good single player mode.
They revealed that at the start of the Game Awards, they spent 5 minutes going through the new Splatoon package to open the show.
That'd be cool.
It's a game that like deserves a long-term player base, but it's built in a way to make people fall off and move on. Like, and that's such a shame, right? That this should be a game that people are still playing and still talking about. Cool, good one. Okay, Stacey, what year would you like to discuss?
I'm going to go for 2019.
Ooh.
Recent. I think mine might be 2019. Okay,
I'm
what
gonna
category?
Reverse what George is actually. I'm gonna tell you the game that I picked. It won 2 awards.
Okay.
And I want to see if you can tell me what awards it won.
Okay.
My favorite game that won a Game Award is Fire Emblem 3 Houses.
Okay, so this won Best RPG.
It did not win Best RPG.
Wow!
Controversially, it was not nominated for Best RPG.
If you're about to tell me it won Best Family Game, I'm going to lose it.
It did not win Best Family Game. It wasn't nominated for that either. It was only nominated for Best Action in both.
So
best
it must
action
be best.
adventure.
Nope.
Must be best narrative.
Nope.
Wow. It can't be
Best
art direction,
simulation?
surely.
It wasn't art direction.
Oh,
George?
is it?
Best simulation.
Best strategy and simulation.
yeah,
Yes,
of
it won
course,
best.
yeah.
And it won one of their award.
God.
And
Is it
that award is the reason I want to talk about it. It's a
Oh.
big award, important award.
I doubt it was
could
performance.
be a performance. It could be score, sound design.
None of those.
Player's choice?
It was the first ever Player's Voice winner.
Oh, cool.
First time they did a Player's Voice was 2019. Fire Emblem was only up for one award in the whole show, Best Strategy, which people didn't think it belonged in, and people felt it could have been up for Game of the Year. Game of the Year was kind of a mixed bag in 2019. One Player's Voice. Back before it was gacha games will give you free outfits and Primo Gems if you vote for us. And the players
We'll talk
actually
about
picked
that
a game they
later.
liked.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah, Game of the Year nominees 2019 were... Anyone want to do the trivia? Do you want me to just tell you? Resident Evil 2 Remake, Death Stranding, Control,
Disco Elysium?
Oh, Outer World.
Outer Worlds, Super Smash
Smash.
Bros., the only
Yeah.
December game ever to be up for Game of the Year, and the obviously eventual winner, Sekiro Shadows Die
And
twice.
Sekiro, yeah. I feel this was a real toss-up, man. It really could have been almost any of these, right?
Probably not the Outer Worlds.
Probably
should've-
not Outer Worlds, but any of the other ones.
Like Disco Elysium, I know it's up for other
Disco,
awards
yep.
in that year. That should have totally been nominated. That should have totally won, in my opinion. But
No, because Fire Emblem should have won. That's what I'm here saying.
That's what we're talking about, George.
No, Disco's a great one. Fire Emblem. There's a few other great games came out in 2019. I haven't written down before. Where are they? So yeah,
Disco
Devil May
won
Cry
Best
5.
RPG.
yeah, fine.
Which is crazy because it was up against like real RPGs, like
I don't know if I'd call
traditional
Disco Elysium an
RPGs.
RPG. Yeah,
it's like
more
a
like a,
CRPG, isn't it?
yeah, it's a CRPG.
Outer Wilds not nominated for anything. Sayonara Wild Hearts are not nominated for Game of the Year. I mean, Sayonara Wild Hearts, Kingdom Hearts 3.
Oh god,
Podium.
Yeah,
totally snubbed.
That was beaten by Death Stranding in a lot of categories.
Oh, my heart. That's like my two interests colliding. God.
it was beaten by Disco for RPG.
Oh.
Okay, back to Fire Emblem though.
Yes, back to Fire Emblem.
A few thoughts on this because like this was the first Switch Fire Emblem, and the 3DS, the two 3DS ones, Awakening, and now I don't remember the name of it.
Well, I was going to say Warriors, but no, Warriors was like the Muso spin-off.
Yeah, it was the one where you had Conquest and Birthright.
Yeah.
Fates.
Fire Emblem Fates. Yes, I think it was.
So those two they were really like the global breakout for Fire Emblem. Obviously, Fire Emblem's been around forever and ever and ever, and there was a pretty popular Game Boy Advance one. But it wasn't until Awakening that Fire Emblem became pretty mainstream in the West. And then Three Houses was the first Switch one. It had been quite a few years, 5 or 6 years since Fates. And so the hype was real.
6 years, I think, 2013.
6 years, yeah. But then it turned out to be quite different.
Very different. Big change of direction. I haven't played all of them because it has been around for a long time, but in my opinion, it's the best Fire Emblem game. Had the most of the, what do you call it? Like the social side of the game, like the character writing, the depth, the narrative. It was still...
The dating sim stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. The real reason
it was still
people
a
play
Fire Emblem game. It still had a lot of the like clunkiness to it in places, but like with the narrative. But the whole thing was much smoother. There was 3 completely different storylines, and they all felt like they were the main storyline. Because obviously, depending on which house you sided with. I think at the time as well, it came out probably around peak. I think popularity for things like Game of Thrones, and the fact you had 3 different houses, one of whom was essentially, the Dragon Queen, taking over and controlling everything. I think really it struck into what kind of fantasy stories are being told at that time. I'm always surprised when I look back and we do like different Game Awards stuff, different coverage at the site. to see just how snubbed it was in so many categories, because it excels in a lot of areas. And I think a good example of why player's voice can be a force for good. I mean, this year it's terrible. I don't care who wins there. It's a terrible category this year. And part of the problem is a lot of the player's voice stuff. I looked it up. 11 of the 30 player's voice this year did not come out this year. And 12 of the 30 did not come out last year for last year's award. So a third of the category are always just live service games that had a good run. No one is looking back on this year thinking, you know what the best thing in gaming was this year? That Fortnite season. And if you are playing more video games...
I will say this, at least Fortnite doesn't try
Dr. Doom, though.
Yeah, well...
The Incredibles.
but at least Fortnite doesn't rig the system by being like, oh, we'll offer you whatever they call them in Genshin. Like, I'm pretty sure
Primogems.
Yeah, Primogems. Every year they're like, if we win Player's Choice, you'll get a million bajillion Primo bucks. And I think that's crap. Like, that's just... What is that supposed to tell you?
Stuff, and it's not a real award. The Player's Voice is not a real award for that reason. It won't ever be a serious award while the votes go in that way. But for the first year, I think it was a real way to say, not because of any collaborative agenda, not because of any desire to get freebies in a game, just the community kind of saying, actually, you know what, this game has been overlooked by you, populist critics.
Right.
And it deserves a shot. Do you want to hazard a guess as to what other snubbed game came third in Player's Voice, George? Completely snubbed at the Game Awards that year.
That year, 2019. I'm going to say...
the only award it was up for.
Not Kingdom Hearts.
Nope.
Do you know, Eric? Are you laughing?
No, I don't know. It's not Psychonauts.
No, that was 2021.
It's a game you have a lot of affection for, which is why I'm asking you, George.
God, but that
to
could
show
be
the
anything.
power of the Player's Voice vote. It was Star Wars Fallen Order. Jedi, whatever the order of those words are. Star Wars Jedi. Not nominated for a single award.
Wow.
Not even Action Adventure? That's a shoo-in.
Nothing. Nope.
Wow.
Nope. Fire Emblem only had one, which was Strat and Player's Voice. Smash came second, which obviously was up for quite a bit, including Game of the Year, and Death Stranding came fourth, which won quite a few awards.
Yeah, fair enough.
2019 is a really interesting one because the most awards won by a single game that year was 4 for Disco, which at the time was the most any game had ever won. And I think The Last of Us won 9 or something like that. So it's like that used to qualify as a whitewash of 4 wins.
Yeah. Also interesting that then 4 years later we got Fire Emblem Engage and nobody cared.
No. I think it was up for best strat, but like whatever. It was in my game of the year that year, but quite low. And I played it I was reviewing it, so I played it like over Christmas in a really like relaxed way. And I was like, yeah, it's Christmassy. It wasn't that great though. Yeah, it was a big. It regressed on a lot of the progress that Three Houses had made. So
yeah, it's interesting because it's also sort of the like greatest hits Fire Emblem game. Like,
yeah,
they're bringing back all
they
your
all come back. Yeah,
characters
Violet and Roy and everyone comes back.
Yeah,
Cameos.
And coming off what many think is the best Fire Emblem game ever, and then it was just like, yeah, I almost forgot it existed for a minute.
His fan service.
Yeah.
Go on, Eric.
Very good choice.
I'm excited. What is your favorite TGA winner?
I had a hard time choosing between 3.
I've got a good guess for one of yours.
I may cheat a little bit and try to squeeze in multiples here. My list is more disorganized than I thought, so let me find the year so that I can tell you it is 2018.
Ooh, okay. That is not what I thought. Okay.
Do we have the category, or do you want just to guess the category of one?
The category is Best Art Direction.
Oh, that's a tough one. 2018. Yeah. 2018 was a really stuffed year.
There's a headline game of 2018 that you should be able to come up with.
Celeste.
No.
Is it Red Dead?
Headline. Yeah. It's Red Dead.
All right.
Okay.
Red Dead's not my choice. Red Dead's not my choice. I'm just saying there's a headline game of 2018 that's Red Dead. Red Dead is in this category.
Red Dead, God of War probably isn't in that category, but God of War.
God of War is in this category. Yep. You got two of them.
Yeah. Spider-Man was 2018. Nope. That was 2018.
Dragon Ball Fighters was 2018. That totally should have won that.
We had you'll never get it because there was an Assassin's Creed game. It was Odyssey.
Yeah.
Is in this category. There's two more. One was a big Square game.
Big Square game in 2018.
I was going to say, it's not Final Fantasy Remake. That was 2020. So it would be...
I have to kill the dead air. It was Octopath Traveler.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I would never have
guessed it. And then my choice. So Octopath Traveler, Red Dead 2, God of War, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. The winner, and my choice, best art direction, Return of the Obra Dinn.
Oh, that's a great win. Great category, great artists. That's a great win.
How fascinating is that? Against Red Dead, against these, the most cutting edge, the most graphically advanced, like Red Dead.
That's like most graphics. A lot of people, I think, treat art direction as a most graphics category.
Yeah. And then Lucas Pope toils away in his basement for 4 years and gives us this like 1 pixel, whatever, like just a crazy looking game.
It looks brilliant, Obra Dinn.
Yeah.
I mean,
I love Obra Dinn.
You say that it's a surprise, but like Red Dead 2 totally got snubbed for Game of the Year against God of War that year. Remember?
It did, yeah. I do.
Yeah.
I know Rockstar Games usually equals this is going to win everything, but that year kind of proved us wrong.
That's only it'll have been Rockstar at the game much well because GTA 5 2013, the year before it started, so we won't really see Rockstar until next year, possibly the year after. Maybe they've already dropped a trailer and they've told us the exact date and everyone else knows about it.
This was also the year of Monster Hunter World, which won RPG and nothing else. So it's kind of interesting that once again it's up against Rockstar in 2025.
We hope.
And Assassin's Creed.
Yeah. But I love that Obra Dinn win because it's the underdog of the category. It feels a lot like Balatro this year. And I just think about that game all the time. If you haven't played it, it's a very creative detective game that takes place on a pirate ship. And you are exploring this after everyone on the ship has died. And you are able to see snapshots of the moment someone died. It's in 3D space. It's like a freeze frame of the moment someone died. You can walk all around, you can investigate clues, and you've got a journal, and your task is to figure out the name of every person on the ship and fill out this journal with all of their names and how they died. Well, it'll fill in how they died. You have to figure out what their names are. And it's such a clever puzzle game with really cool progression. You start out with a very simple murder. It's clearly the captain of the ship. Okay, who was the captain? Like, it's pretty simple to figure out the first one. And by the end of the game, you're looking at a room where 15 people died at the same time. and you have to figure out what all 15 of their names are. It's such a cool game. Love Obra Dinn.
It really folds in. I had forgotten some of those mechanics, actually, but it really folds in the idea of art direction. It's not just it looks good, it looks nice, it looks unique. It uses its technical limitations really effectively in a way that these most graphics games can't. Another one I know again that you love as well, Eric. We've discussed this. Mouthwashing uses that this year. Uses the fact it's a video game, a pretty cheap looking video game. Yeah, the screen tears and you can't see certain parts of it because it's glitching, but it's glitching on purpose and plays into the horror with that. So I think games that use the kind of medium of video games in such an interesting way, for me, should always get a little bit more of a nod in art direction than treating it as a nicest looking or even a cinematography category.
100%, yeah.
Agree.
So yeah, I think that's a cool one. I do wonder if the jury's gotten bigger every year, seems to be leaning more and more towards populist choices because of that.
Right.
if the current jury voted on that, would Oberdin beat Red Dead and God of War?
No, I don't think so. I'd like to think so, but probably not.
Depends. I don't know sometimes if the big games get in each other's way. Like, if you like cool indies, you vote for Oberdin. If you like big, massive blockbuster games, you vote for one of the other four, and they're all kind of split.
True.
Maybe it's not Octopath, but, Assassin's Creed, Red Dead, and God of War. Maybe that happens at the Game Awards, and everyone takes votes of each other, and Bellatrix wins.
Yeah.
We'll see later.
Can't wait to find out.
We'll see.
The other thing I love so much about Oberdin is that it's narrative construction. It's a very Memento style of storytelling because it's told in reverse. You start with the last death and work your way backwards. But in that it has a very good progression like an escalation. Even though it's going backwards, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It has a good arc that works front ways and back ways. It's pretty cool how it's put together.
Very, very clever game.
The ones that I also considered choosing was
wait. I want to guess. If you say 2021, I know what it is.
2021.
Guardians of the Galaxy Best Narrative.
Best Narrative. Guardians of the Galaxy.
Cool win.
And yeah,
Very
both my other choices were 2021 because I also wanted
Best
to talk
action
about
game,
the best
Returnal.
action game, Returnal. Yeah, which could have been best narrative. To be honest,
and that's the one that works forwards and backwards.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. We tend to talk about 2021 as a down year because of the pandemic and because It Takes Two won, and we're like, It Takes Two would not probably have won in most other years. But we got Guardians of the Galaxy and Returnal.
And Psychonauts 2.
Which were not Game of the Year nominees, but both are phenomenal. I love Guardians. I like Guardians more than the first two movies, for sure. Maybe it's a toss-up with the third one. I think the third one's quite good.
I unabashedly love all the Guardians movies.
Yeah.
But I do love the game. I think the game's really cool. Yeah, we do talk about 2021 as a down year, but some of them have got to be.
Yep.
That's always my attitude.
Yeah.
They can't all be the best year ever.
Yeah.
George and I were having such a ball with Guardians. We were kind of playing it at the same time. Like, oh, did you get to this part? Did you get to this part?
To this day, I still think about the candle one.
So strong in a way that a lot of games are not.
Yeah.
I think that game kind of just gets better and better until the very end.
Yeah.
And then the fake end.
Yeah. We've talked about it recently with Fin Fang Foom, but that whole section.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, the dragon.
The teasing,
dragon,
what a game. Yeah. So snubbed, but at least it won Best Narrative.
And rare for superhero games. Most of them deflate a little bit towards the end. It's a big problem. Really, all three Spider-Man games have had, I feel.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Kind of stakes folded on themselves.
And then Returnal, I didn't get to until later. I played it when it was in PS Plus library, but really blew me away. Really devastating game. Super tight action. Super fun. But narratively, one I don't even want to talk about if you haven't played it, because one of my favorite video game stories ever. Dark. I love Returnal.
Very cool.
Love Returnal.
It was too hard for me to get over through, so I looked at what happens. But
I beat it.
Yeah.
Very good game.
Okay, circling back to some of those defunct categories from the early years,
yes.
I thought these were kind of interesting. One thing was that mobile and handheld used to be the same category back when we had we would never put Switch games in its own category, even though we have Best Family. But mobile and handheld used to be in the same thing. And in 2016, Hearthstone won Best Mobile / Handheld, beating Smash for 3DS.
Ooh.
Which is kind of interesting.
Smash for 3DS
probably
is
closer
fine.
to the spirit of the category, I would say.
Yeah.
We used to have Best Score rather than Best Sound Design. and we would give composers the award. I think that was kind of interesting.
I kind of prefer that.
I'm not sure if I prefer it, because I think sound design is a slightly different thing, but I think it's very typical of the direction that it's gone, that we used to highlight actual artists and now we just say the game.
Yeah.
I love the noise that Alan Wake makes.
Yeah. Instead of games for impact, it used to be games for change.
Yeah. I remember that.
Still
We
used kind of confusing.
Instead of ongoing, we had best online experience.
That means like every game now, though.
Yeah. At least in the first year, we had best remaster. I think that was a one-off.
I don't know. I don't think it should come back at all. I think either nominate them or don't. I hate the idea that we'll have best expansion and best remake, because Jeff doesn't like that people are annoyed at Shadow of the Earth 3. I don't like it at all.
And then 2017 and 2018, we had best student game.
Student game, yeah.
And then we just stopped doing that.
And we also used to have future class.
Yes. Yeah. Some things I would like to highlight. The 2016 best indie category is Gas. This year, also Gas. The best indies for this year, great, solid category. 2016, also incredible. Anybody remember them?
Inside?
Yep, Inside won.
Yeah.
I remember,
I tend to remember the winners more than the nominees. I could pick out a few more winners.
Here's what Inside beat. Firewatch.
Ooh.
Hyper Light Drifter. Stardew Valley.
Ooh.
Yeah. And The Witness.
Oh, that's interesting.
I think I'd go Firewatch there.
Hell of a category. Yeah.
I think Inside's a worthy winner. I know Stardew has gone the distance.
Yeah.
Firewatch
best
is a great
ongoing game.
well. Best ongoing game, yeah. Well, if it was still online experience, they couldn't have given it to Cyberpunk.
Don't even get me started on that.
Because it had the had the courage to be fixed 4 years after it launched.
It had the courage to release how it should have been instead of all the games that are continuously updated. Don't get me started on that, because it annoys me to no end.
I was thinking about that whole expansion thing, because in 2018, Monster Hunter World won Best RPG. In 2019, Monster Hunter World Iceborne was nominated for Best RPG.
Did it win?
And lost to Disco.
Yeah! Take that, nerd.
We've had expansions before. It's another game of the year.
Yeah. 2016 was our first VR category. I talked about before how this year's VR category is really competitive, but actually 2020's was wild. VR in 2020, the winner was Half-Life Alyx, which is pretty unfair to the rest of these, because the rest of these
you just don't beat that.
the rest of these are so good. It was Dreams,
cool, yeah, not entirely
Iron Man,
yep,
Walking Dead: Saints and Sinners, and Star Wars Squadrons. So
I was thinking of the video. Yeah, Squadrons was good.
Squadrons was my. I mean, Alex, of course, but I had a blast with Squadrons. I got the flight sticks out, and I strapped into my chair and played in VR. And I was online with my friends. We were dogfighting. Oh man, I had so much fun in VR with that one.
I was looking through the VR stuff as well, and there was an interesting thing that I found when I was researching different things. So in 2018, the VR category was pretty loaded. It had the winner, which I still haven't played because they won't port it to the new PSVR. It was Astrobot Rescue Mission.
Yeah,
all 7 people who've played it say it's very good. Yeah. But the nominees: Beat Saber, Firewall Zero Hour, the only one that I am unfamiliar with completely. Moss and Tetris Effect were all up for Best VR AR.
Damn.
The next year, Beat Saber won. Even though it was nominated the year before and lost, because it just weren't enough VR games to go around.
Yeah.
So that the Game Awards done that before. Like the Game Awards nominated Among Us in 2020, even though it came out in 2018, just because no one had heard of it until then. Asgard's Wrath, Blood and Truth, No Man's Sky, Trover Saves the Universe.
Oh god, that was a thing.
Yeah, they were beaten by Beat Saber in the second time it was nominated.
Oh wow!
Don't know why it was nominated
Shout out to my
twice,
boy Trover.
but it was.
Yeah.
Trover Saves the Universe, the precursor to High on Life.
I noticed that our first best adaptation category is 2022.
Yeah,
and I think they pretty much invented it for Arcane.
Was it The Last of Us was last year's winner, right?
Last of Us won it last year.
Yeah.
It was
Time's
Arcane,
flat
and they
circle.
had Thingy. They had what they called Imagine Dragons there
Yeah.
singing the theme tune.
That was long. It always is.
It's 21 Pilots today, or yesterday, or whenever the hell you listen to this. But 21 Pilots are the musical guests this time.
Fantastic. I look forward to that.
Nice. What else do you have, George?
God, I have a long list. I did a lot of research.
Yeah.
Some of the ones that are just I've highlighted are Guardians of the Galaxy as well, because like Eric said, we both love that. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater for Best Sports
Best
in
Sports
2020.
2020, yeah.
Yeah. Worthy winner, one of the best
One of the
sports
few
games maybe ever.
best sports winners, yeah.
That's why I picked it. I was like, oh, Stace will like this. Fun anecdote, as they say.
Terrible category this year.
Oh, it always is. That's why it stood out.
Yeah, but college
same with
football should be there.
Yeah, probably. It did do quite well. I also put Best Performance, Red Dead Redemption 2, Roger Clark, because obviously
that's a classic one, I think.
Christopher Judge for Ragnarok in 2022. Hi-Fi
speech.
Rush. Yeah, his long speech. Deserved long speech.
I loved his speech, yeah. I thought it was
I
really
did not
interesting.
love his speech. I thought it was so rambling.
I love award shows. I love nonsense.
He deserved it.
I was
and
just
finally,
we were watching it, and I was like, he has no idea what he's saying right now.
No, he totally knew. Leave him alone. He's a boss. Finally, and I'm sure you two won't be surprised, but last year, Hi-Fi Rush Best Audio Design. Because if there's any game that should win based on its music and
Based
audio
on
design,
how
it
it's
ties
yeah,
in.
exactly how it's built into the game, not just for best score, but for how it's implemented into the game actively.
Yeah.
Should have won Best Game Direction as well, but Baldur's Gate 3 existed and kind of
It definitely
tanked
should not have won.
everything
It
else.
definitely should not have won
Oh my
Best
god,
Game
it should
Game
have.
Direction should have been Alan Wake. I love Baldur's Gate. Alan Wake should have won Game Direction.
Alan Wake,
the game that actually had Game Direction.
Whatever.
Last year was a really, really boring show because Baldur's Gate won so much. I loved Baldur's Gate, I know you two didn't love anyone as much as I did. I do think it's game of the generation, but it's boring seeing loads of stuff win. So
Yeah, at least this year's were interesting.
Those
are my highlights.
There was nothing for Baldur's Gate where I was like, oh yeah, I want to talk about that.
Yeah.
Did I have anything
Too
I
obvious.
haven't mentioned? Actually, there is one that I want to touch on just because people got really, really mad at me earlier in the year, so I just want to set the record straight. I hated Hellblade 2. I think it's bad. I think it's a really bad game. I'm amazed it's up for anything. It's technically kind of impressive, but really dated, and I don't think the performance is as good. But the first one, jingle.
Best performance.
First one was
that
excellent.
year, right?
It won 3. Best performance, best audio design, again, not the score, the actual design, I think perfect one for that. And it was a Games for Impact winner.
Yep.
Okay,
I remember that.
The reason I think that's interesting is because Games for Impact has kind of slowly become and also this game category. Last year, I don't think any of the games up for Game for Impact were nominated for any other awards. This year, that's different. We have 3 games in Games for Impact that are up for nominees elsewhere, and one of them is Hellblade. Kind of come full circle. One of the other ones is Life is Strange, which is also up for performance. I think there's a link there between meaningful stories and meaningful performances. Who knew? But yeah, I think I really, really adored the first Hellblade. It would be one of my favorite games of the last generation, I think, for how well it's crafted. It's not just how fun it is to play. It's not really fun to play. It's an experience to experience. Second one's real bad, and it's not because I hate Xbox. It's not because of any aversion to the game. It's because this is a bad version of it, and the first version was great. Worthy winner.
Concur.
Fair. One other thing that comes to mind, we have been talking about the best indie and best debut indie, and sort of Balatro being in both categories. And, does that mean it'll take one and not the other? Or Cuphead in 2017 won indie and best debut indie.
And
And art direction.
In 2021, so did Kenna Bridge of Spirits.
Oh wow.
Won both?
Yeah.
I missed that. Yeah. Okay. So
I like Kenna, but that's a bit of a
it was up for a
surprise.
lot. It was up for a lot that year.
Decent game.
Kind of the 2021 thing.
Yes.
Yeah. Very good. Okay, cool, gamers. Well, I hope that you enjoyed the Game Awards. I hope that we will enjoy the Game Awards.
Me too.
And we will be back next week for a very Christmas-themed episode. In the meantime, that was our favorite Game Award winners, but we want to know your favorite Game Award winners. So leave us a comment down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell, and visit us at thegamer.com. That's The Gamer. No spaces.